Of all the actors who heartbreakingly died in 2025, these are some of the most consequential losses you might not have even heard about. Quentin Tarantino almost single-handedly triggered a 1990s spike in gritty, quirky dramas about colorful criminals, combining B-movies of the 1970s with elements of film noir from the mid-20th century. Michael Madsen, a brooding, charismatic actor already known for his work in Diner, The Doors, and Thelma and Louise, became one of the writer-director's most frequent collaborators, exuding a tough guy facade that hid layers of character.
Problem is, I've always been a better rule breaker than a rule maker myself.
As Mr. Blonde, Madsen was among the Rogues Gallery in Reservoir Dogs. He also played Bud in Kill Bill, Joe Gage in The Hateful Eight, and a TV cop in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Madsen made a career out of movies inspired by Tarantino, or that would have inspired Tarantino, finishing out his career with a resume of more than 330 roles. Police in Malibu, California went to Madsen's home after receiving a 911 call on July 3, 2025, where they discovered him dead of cardiac arrest. He was 67. Regular television viewers and film fans know Isiah Whitlock Jr. from any number of projects. With a resume dating back to the early 1980s, Whitlock played minor roles in Goodfellas, Gremlins 2, The New Batch, and on New York Undercover and Law & Order before he landed his breakthrough part, corrupt Maryland State Senator Clay Davis on HBO's The Wire. Whitlock recurred throughout the entire series while also turning out memorable appearances on Chappelle's Show. In the 2010s and beyond, he co-starred as George Maddox on Veep, played various characters on Law & Order Special Victims Unit, and played another shady politician on Your Honor. Whitlock may be best known for his 6 Spike Lee films, which include She Hate Me, Red Hook Summer, The Five Bloods, and Black Klansman. On December 30th, 2025, Whitlock died of an undisclosed illness. He was 71 years old. For the first years of his professional life, Bob Uecker played baseball. He actually spent 6 years in the major leagues back in the 60s, but he wasn't very good, relatively speaking. His lifetime batting average was .200, with 74 career runs batted in. But Uecker didn't take himself too seriously, and he wasn't done with sports when he turned in his cleats. His colorful, self-deprecating musings about his lack of skill in the game he adored led to a career in sports media.
Yeah, I keep showing up. Wherever they tell you to go, that's where I go. Yeah. You know, doesn't matter what the game is, who cares, you know?
Yeah.
He served as the Milwaukee Brewers radio play-by-play announcer for 54 seasons, and in the 1980s he moved into acting. He starred in a series of Miller Lite ads and played the befuddled dad George Owens in 6 seasons of the sitcom Mr. Belvedere. Uecker even went meta, playing baseball announcer Harry Doyle in all 3 Major League movies. Less than 2 years after receiving a cancer diagnosis, Uecker died on January 16, 2025, 10 days shy of his 91st birthday, at his home in Menominee Falls, Wisconsin. A versatile, prolific character actor, Kimberly Hebert Gregory racked up 50 film and television credits after her 2007 screen debut. After appearing on episodes of 21st century TV shows like Gossip Girl, 2.5 Men, Shameless, and Grey's Anatomy, Gregory landed the lead role of Dr. Belinda Brown on Vice Principals. At the same time, Gregory co-starred on the ABC dramedy Kevin Probably Saves the World, then went on to voice various characters in Cartoon Network's Craig of the Creek franchise. And as if that weren't enough, she played talent agent Ruth Bowen on the Aretha Franklin-focused season of Genius. On October 3, 2025, Gregory's ex-husband Chester Gregory posted to Instagram that she had died. Details weren't immediately disclosed. Gregory was 52 years old. Gil Gerard was once a television stalwart, playing the lead in a series of shows that would run for a little while, get fairly good ratings, and get canceled. Most of those shows are delightfully corny in retrospect, but they helped make Gerard something of a household name. After a few years as Dr. Alan Stewart on the 1970s daytime soap The Doctors, Gerard played his best-known role, heroic, unfrozen-in-the-future astronaut Buck Rogers on Buck Rogers in the 25th Century, which ran from 1979 to 1981. The actor re-emerged later in the 80s as a cop paired with a martial arts-loving child in the action sitcom Sidekicks. The 1990s saw Gerard return to soaps and move into original cable dramas, with short stints on Days of Our Lives, The Big Easy, and Pacific Blue. In the 21st century, Gerard kept busy with low-budget B-movies, as well as a career-capping featured role in the 2016 crime comedy The Nice Guys. Janet Gerard, wife of the actor, announced on her Facebook page that her husband had died after being diagnosed with an aggressive cancer just days before his death on December 16, 2025. Gerard was 82. In the very early 1980s, Anthony Geary was one half of a cultural sensation. In 1981, a record 30 million people tuned into an episode of General Hospital to witness the wedding of Luke Spencer, played by Geary, and Laura Weber Baldwin, played by Jeannie Francis. The Wedding was a culmination of a 3-year-long story arc that saw Luke go from a contract killer who assaulted Laura to a romantic hero, as Geary was transformed from a villainous side character into a reluctant soap superstar.
It's like a fad, like a cult piece of American pop culture, and makes me very nervous.
Geary played Luke on and off again until 2015, returning for a final brief appearance in 2017.
I'm going to have to find out where I'm going on my own.
The 8-time Daytime Emmy Award winner occasionally ventured into other genres, showing up on Murder, She Wrote and Hotel, and demonstrating his comedy chops as mad scientist Philo in the cult classic comedy UHF. In December 2025, Geary underwent a medical procedure at a facility in his home city of Amsterdam. Only a few days later, he died of surgical complications. Geary was 78 years old. Once his career took off in the mid-1990s, actor Peter Greene was never out of work for long. He played some of the era's most memorable villains. In The Mask, he was cast as vicious gang leader and mask coveter Dorian Tyrell. A few months later, he popped up in Pulp Fiction as sadist and security guard Zed. The following year, Greene appeared in The Usual Suspects and Steven Seagal's Under Siege 2, Dark Territory. On December 12, 2025, Greene was found unresponsive in his apartment on Manhattan's Lower East Side. He was declared dead at the scene. The actor was 60. An icon in the experimental, independent, and horror genres, actor Udo Kier was a muse for edgy progressive filmmakers. With a striking screen presence and undeniable energy, Kier acted in more than 200 films, beginning with Flesh for Frankenstein and Blood for Dracula, 2 weird mid-70s horror movies produced under the eye of the legendary Andy Warhol.
But maybe that head of that creature wasn't any good.
That work exposed Kier to filmmakers like Rainer Werner Fassbinder, Gus Van Sant, and Lars von Trier. For Fassbinder, Kier appeared in The Third Generation. He appeared in My Own Private Idaho for Van Sant. And for von Trier, Kier acted in Breaking the Waves, Dancer in the Dark, Dogville, and Melancholia, among others. In the 90s, Kier stepped into the mainstream, landing standout roles in big movies like Blade, Armageddon, and Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. He worked up until almost the end of his life, including an appearance in the 2025 movie The Secret Agent.
I'm surprised you still remember me.
Who could forget the Liberace of Sandusky?
Kier died of undisclosed causes in Palm Springs, California on the morning of November 23, 2025. The actor was 81 years old. Most well-known actors from TV's first golden age are remembered for one long-running show, but June Lockhart starred in 3 television classics. When producers rebooted Lassie in 1958, the collie was living on a farm where she was looked after by a boy named Timmy and his kind, patient foster mother, Ruth Martin, played by Lockhart. 6 years on Lassie solidified Lockhart's place in the pantheon of treasure TV moms, but she wasn't done. A year after wrapping Lassie, she segged into another mom role, this time on the sci-fi saga Lost in Space. As Maureen Robinson, Lockhart mothered a wandering family of astronauts, plus a somewhat sentient robot. When Lost in Space was canceled, Lockhart went into the small-town sitcom Petticoat Junction for its final 2 seasons, replacing the late Bea Benaderet. After lending her voice to Netflix's Lost in Space remake in 2021, Lockhart retired. He died at home in Santa Monica, California on October 23, 2025 at the age of 100. Danielle Spencer stepped away from the spotlight decades ago. Her last role was a bit part as a vendor on a 2001 episode of Days of Our Lives, which followed her final film work as a veterinarian in As Good as It Gets. That was a nod to Spencer's real-life career. She earned a doctorate in veterinary medicine in 1993. As an actress, Spencer is primarily known for the role of Dee Thomas, the bratty but funny younger sister on the popular 1970s sitcom What's Happening. After the show wrapped production in 1979, Spencer quit acting until 1985, when she again played Dee on 3 seasons of the sequel What's Happening Now. On August 11, 2025, she died from cardiac arrest coupled with complications of gastric cancer. She was 60 years old. Julian McMahon was virtually born into fame. In 1971, when he was about 3 years old, his father, Billy McMahon, became Prime Minister of Australia. After a brief attempt at modeling when he was a teenager, the younger McMahon began acting in Australian soap operas before landing a major role in the late 1990s NBC procedural Profiler. Next, he appeared on Charmed, where he played Cole, a likable demon with an eye toward redemption, for 3 seasons. For 6 seasons, McMahon headed the cast of FX's edgy psychological drama set in the world of plastic surgery, Nip Tuck, as Dr. Christian Troy.
Nose job, breast job, butt job, foot job, calf job, ankle job.
One of McMahon's final roles was on the hit crime show FBI Most Wanted, which he stayed on for 3 seasons before leaving to pursue other opportunities. Scarcely a week after he began treatment for cancer, a diagnosis that he didn't share outside of his close circle, McMahon died in Clearwater, Florida on July 2, 2025. He was 56.
Afternoon, everybody.
After coming up in Chicago's Second City comedy program, George Wendt worked consistently in film and television from the late 1970s until the mid-2020s. And while he was a frequent guest on Saturday Night Live and starred in a string of broadcast sitcoms, including The Naked Truth and The George Wendt Show, he'll always be most remembered as Norm Peterson, the affable, beer-loving, wife-avoiding barfly accountant on Cheers. Wendt's work on the role was appreciated, earning him 6 consecutive Emmy nominations for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Comedy Series. Wendt died in his sleep on May 20, 2025. The cause of death was cardiac arrest. Wendt was 76. Wings Hauser was a quintessential character actor with well over 100 credits on his resume. Hauser disappeared into his roles, which were often tough, intimidating characters. He played a drug dealer in the Richard Pryor film JoJo Dancer, Your Life is Calling, a menacing lieutenant in A Soldier's Story, and a violent pimp in Vice Squad.
That guy is no chief of police. I want to see you die. I want to make you crazy.
His work in Tough Guys Don't Dance earned him a Best Supporting Actor nomination at the 1988 Independent Spirit Awards. On the small screen, Hauser appeared on Beverly Hills 90210, Roseanne, and Criminal Minds, among many others. Hauser died of natural causes in Los Angeles on March 15, 2025. He was 77 years old.
Hey, Mom, hey, Dad, how's it going? Yeah, Hollywood's great. Yeah, still a loser.
Nicky Katt started out as a child actor back in the 80s, making guest appearances on series like Fantasy Island, Chips, and The Facts of Life. He had featured roles in movies like Gremlins and The Burbs, then went on to establish himself as an adult performer in 1993's Dazed and Confused. Katt's intense performance as Clint set the bar for his future work, which included roles in School of Rock, Boiler Room, Way of the Gun, and The Brave One. Katt also appeared in 49 episodes of the Fox school drama Boston Public as non-traditional teacher Harry Sennett. Katt hadn't appeared on screen since 2018. On April 8, 2025, his body was discovered in his apartment in Burbank, California. The cause of death was suicide. Katt was 54.
It's a massive renal aneurysm, inoperable.
Truly an icon of classic television, Richard Chamberlain made TV history over and over again. Airing from 1961 to 1966, the daring medical drama Dr. Kildare explored serious social issues that had never been seen on American TV. Chamberlain played the young intern, Dr. Kildare.
Facing a new part is always a time of devastating insecurity.
After a foray into film, where he brought his natural gravitas to every character he played, Chamberlain returned to TV and became the king of the new genre, the miniseries. He starred in some of the most watched limited-run epics of all time, Shogun in 1980 and The Thornbirds in 1983. Later in his career, Chamberlain made major cameos on shows like Will and Grace, Chuck, Desperate Housewives, and the Twin Peaks revival. On March 29, 2025, Chamberlain died in Hawaii of complications of a stroke. The actor was 90 years old.
What's eating you, Margaret?
At the moment, you are.
MASH is among the most watched, most celebrated sitcoms in history, and Loretta Swit was there for the entire 11-year run. Swit played Margaret Hot Lips Houlihan, a nurse serving in an Army medical unit during the Korean War. She's credited with intentionally crafting her character to reflect modern feminist ideals, and she was rewarded for her efforts, winning the 1980 and 1982 Emmy Awards for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series. Swit was also the original Christine Cagney on the police drama Cagney and Lacey. She shot the pilot, but when the series was picked up, her contract with MASH forced her to turn down the job. On May 30th, 2025, Swit died in her home in New York City. She was 87 years old. For a little while in the 1970s, Joe Don Baker was one of the biggest movie stars in the United States. He thrilled audiences in the 1973 action movie Walking Tall as Buford Pusser, a sheriff who cleans up crime in his Tennessee hometown with a baseball bat. The low-budget indie film earned $40 million and exemplified the vigilante movie mini craze of the era. After a streak of similar roles, Baker joined the James Bond franchise, first playing an evil adversary of 007 in The Living Daylights, and then switching sides in GoldenEye and Tomorrow Never Dies, playing CIA agent Jack Wade. Baker is also remembered as a crooked cop in the 80s classic Fletch, a private investigator in Cape Fear, and a shotgun-toting alien fighter in Mars Attacks. Baker died on May 7, 2025 in Los Angeles at the age of 89.
When I asked Harry whether he'd rather watch Mission Impossible or Kiss Me, he said, "What's the difference?"
The psychedelic hippie counterculture vibe in the 1960s hit primetime hard in the form of the variety show Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In. Among the cast of zany performers was Ruth Buzzi. From 1968 to 1973, Buzzi played a lot of characters, but none was more popular than Gladys, a buttoned-up repressed type who was offended by a great many things, in particular a randy old man played by castmate Artie Johnson, whom she'd beat with her handbag. Buzzi's comedy was broad and physical, filled with silly voices and slapstick. After Laugh-In, she was a regular in Disney live-action movies, taking roles in Freaky Friday and The Apple Dumpling Gang Rides Again. Buzzi died in her sleep on May 1, 2025 at a hospice care facility in Texas. The cause of death was Alzheimer's. She was 88. When network TV began to get more interesting and offbeat in the early 1990s, Valerie Mahaffey was there for it. Previously best known for a daytime Emmy-nominated stint on the soap The Doctors, Mahaffey became known to primetime viewers as Eve in Northern Exposure. Mahaffey's work as the anxiety-ridden germaphobe caught up in a contentious relationship with a bitter doctor won her an Emmy Award for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Drama Series. Mahaffey also starred in the short-lived politically based sitcoms The Powers That Be and Women of the House. More recently, she showed up in recurring roles on Desperate Housewives, Glee, Devious Maids, Dead to Me, and Young Sheldon, in which she played Sheldon's beleaguered teacher. Her last major movie role in 2021's French Exit earned her an Independent Spirit Award nomination. Mahaffey died of cancer on May 30, 2025, a few weeks before her 72nd birthday. In 1951, the comic strip Dennis the Menace hit newspapers, and readers fell for Dennis Mitchell, an unabashedly mischievous child who irritated his neighbors and his own parents every single day. It sounds like the definition of a sitcom, and CBS agreed. So in 1959, the series, also called Dennis the Menace, hit the air with 8-year-old child star Jay North in the lead role. After 4 years as Dennis, North bopped around episodic television, starring in the short-lived adventure show Maya before moving into voice acting in the 1970s. North played Prince Torhan on the Banana Splits Adventure Hour and Teenage Bam Bam Rubble on various Flintstones spin-offs. He then semi-retired from acting, but continued making cameos as himself from the late 1980s onward, while working as a corrections officer. North died of cancer on April 6, 2025 at the age of 73. Trained in the crackling Groundlings Comedy Theater in the early 1980s, Lynne Marie Stewart went on to play fan-favorite roles in 2 classic comedy series.
You really are the most beautiful woman in Puppet Land.
Oh, thank you, Pee-wee.
Stewart played the elegant if mystifying Miss Yvonne on the Saturday morning cult hit Pee-wee's Playhouse, reprising the role she originated in Paul Rubin's stage version. While Stewart appeared in more than 150 films and TV series, including American Graffiti, Bridesmaids, and Clear and Present Danger, she's probably best known for playing Miss Yvonne and Bonnie Kelly, Charlie Kelly's put-upon mother on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Just weeks after completing filming on the comedy film The Dink, Stewart died of cancer at the age of 78. Space Ghost Coast to Coast was a talk show in which a nearly forgotten Hanna-Barbera sci-fi superhero who appeared in a number of 1960s shorts interviewed real celebrities, with a heavy dose of trolling for good measure. Space Ghost also appeared on Cartoon Planet, a daytime sketch and musical variety show. George Lowe voiced Space Ghost on both programs, imbuing his character with massively unearned confidence and a sense of the sublimely ridiculous.
Go on, you doggies. Go on to Texas. I'll meet you there.
Lowe lent his distinctive voice to plenty of other cartoons on and off Adult Swim, such as Aqua Teen Hunger Force, Robot Chicken, The Brack Show, Squidbillies, and American Dad. After undergoing surgery for a minor heart ailment in November 2024, Lowe suffered from complications, and on March 2, 2025, he died at the age of 67. The original members of the UK's illustrious National Theatre, formed in the early 1960s by Sir Laurence Olivier, would number among the greatest, most honored British actors of the 20th century. Alongside Maggie Smith, Derek Jacobi, and Michael Gambon was Olivier's wife, Dame Joan Plowright. While she appeared in many plays at the National, Plowright was also making a name for herself on screen. In 1960, she received a BAFTA nomination for her work in the movie The Entertainer and won a Tony Award for the play A Taste of Honey. At the 1993 Golden Globe Awards, Plowright took home 2 awards, Best Performance by an Actress in a Supporting Role in a Movie for Enchanted April, for which she also received an Oscar nomination, and Best Performance by an Actress in a Supporting Role on Television for Stalin. In the mid-2010s, Plowright was declared legally blind and retired to her home in Sussex, England. On January 16, 2025, she died at Denville Hall, a retirement home for theater people, at the age of 95. Character actor Biff Wiff, whose real name was Gary Crotty, played a lot of creeps, kooks, and eccentrics in a career that stretched back more than 40 years. Often showing up for just an episode or 2, he could be spotted in everything from Moonlighting to Night Court to Reba to iCarly. Later in his career, Wiff played himself on an episode of Little Dickie's Dave and appeared on 2 installments of the staged documentary Jury Duty, but his late-coming breakout performance came in 2021, when he played a nasty, cringe-worthy iteration of Santa Claus in Season 2 of the sketch comedy series I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson. In early 2023, Wiff was diagnosed with cancer, and his friends launched a crowdfunding drive to pay for his treatments. Just under 2 years later, Wiff died from complications of the disease. He was 76 years old. In his two most famous roles on two of television's most popular comedies, Jonathan Joss delivered a signature 1-2 combination of humor and social commentary. Joss's characters, Native American like the actor, inevitably delivered deadpan, disappointed, quietly seething reactions to the oblivious, ridiculous, and sensitive behavior of white people. Joss lent his voice to more than 30 episodes of King of the Hill, playing hard rocker and healer John Redcorn. And on 5 episodes of Parks and Recreation, he played Native American Chief Ken Hotate. Joss also racked up dozens of other credits, mostly supporting roles in TV series like Tulsa King, Ray Donovan, and Comanche Moon. The actor's death was sudden and senseless. On June 1, 2025, Joss's San Antonio neighbor, Sigfredo Ceja Alvarez, shot and killed him after an argument. Joss's murder was investigated as a hate crime, likely linked to his identity as a member of the LGBT community. Jonathan Joss was 59 years old at the time of his death. Alvarez is facing charges of first-degree murder.